Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, and remember the clock's 5 minutes fast too.
Okay.
Slow.
Slow. I meant slow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it'll work out. Anyway, we got to 2 Chronicles chapter 28, and we got through verse 15 the last time I was here. You know, the pastor taught Sunday school last Sunday. Did a okay job. So anyway, I'm going to try to pick back up where we left off, but we're going to do something just a little bit different. I'm not going to continue on in 2 Chronicles 28, verse 16. Anyway, I want to kind of give you a reminder of what had happened here. Syria and Israel had come over into Judah and attacked, and of course Syria took away a bunch of people. It doesn't give a number for them, but Israel killed 120,000. Now, I went back over, like I do. I try to find my own mistakes so the pastor won't make fun of me. But one time I said that they killed 125,000, and the number was 120,000. It's not particularly important, but it is. So I don't want to do anything wrong. Anyway, and they took 200,000 back to Israel, and they were going to use them as slaves. Anyway, they were met by a prophet named Oded, and he told them, you can't do that. This was before they got back to, what's the capital of Israel?
Jerusalem.
Samaria.
Oh, Israel.
Yeah, Samaria. Okay. I hate that when that happens. But anyway, they had not made it back to Samaria yet, and Oded came out and told them, hey, look, you can't do this. You're going against the law of God, because the law said that you were not allowed to take a fellow Israelite as a bondman or a bondwoman. You could treat him as a hireling, but that was it. And you could only do that for 7 years at most. And on the year of Jubilee, they were to be returned to wherever it was they went to. Anyway, so they took all the spoil that they had taken, and there were 4 men that came out from Samaria who were leaders of the community, I believe, and they clothed them, and they prepared them, and they took them back to Judah, to Jericho, which is called the city of palms. It was, apparently there was a lot of palm trees there. I don't know. It didn't say particularly why that was so, but anyway, they were there. They were back in their own country, and the people from Israel went back to Samaria, and they went back to their own place. Now, to continue on, we should start off in verse 16 here, but we're not going to do that, are we? We're going to turn to Isaiah chapter 7, and begin with verse 1. Now, we're going to run into this more and more. We're coming towards the end of things here, things that are going to be happening, especially as pertains to the kingdom of Israel. And there's going to be things in other books of the Bible concerning this. And this is what we're going to study today. It's going to backpedal a little bit. Isaiah chapter 7, and beginning in verse 1, Isaiah is going to be talking about this. The Lord's going to be telling him what to do and what to say, and all, and we're going to get to see it. Okay, Isaiah chapter 7, verse 1, and it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. Now you just heard what all I said about what happened. They took over 200,000 people. Just the kingdom of Israel was taken back, and an unknown number, but a lot of people were taken back to Syria. And it says here that, but they could not prevail against it. It sounded to me like they prevailed against it. Well, no. This is from Judah that these people were taken, not Jerusalem. The city was not taken. Now, you might think, well, it's just as bad. And maybe so. I mean, people think of, well, the kingdom there. You have the kingdom of Judah is the whole thing, and Jerusalem is the chief city. It's like the capital, what we would call the capital, and this is where everything transpired, all the major business things and stuff like that. That's where the king lived and all. That anyway, they went up, Syria and Pekah. They went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. So they didn't prevail against Jerusalem. They did a pretty good job against Judah, the whole country. Anyway, verse 2, and it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. So I want to stop there and catch up a little bit here. Ahaz was warned. He was warned. He said, look, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. Now, what is confederate? If you ever study much about, we had a war here, and the people that lost were called Confederates. Okay, that was, they didn't have a strong central government. There was more independence from things. So in this here, Syria and Ephraim, Ephraim is, in this particular instance, is talking about the kingdom of Israel. One of the 10 tribes that had gone on to be the kingdom of Israel. And anyway, they kind of got a confederation here. They're loosely attached to one another. They're not good buddy type like things, but yeah, we're going to help one another. And that's about all that is. And his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. So he was scared. Ahaz was scared. His heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Now, there are two ways you could take this. Trees in the wind, sometimes they sway back and forth like that. And the kind of wind we have today, it's pretty windy out there. And you can look out and the trees are moving back and forth and back and forth. And the other way you can look at it is sometimes when you have winds that are all over the creation, coming from every which direction instead of one particular direction. and the trees sort of shake, like somebody is scared. Now, I don't know what whether this is talking about, but I'm going to say probably that the winds were blowing the trees back and forth. They didn't know what to do. Woe is me, what are we going to do? Verse 3, Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz, thou and Shear-Jashub thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. So, well, what can we learn here? Okay, he's just telling Isaiah, well, go meet him and tell him the things that I'm going to let you know. He's about to find out a bunch of stuff. And I want you to notice something towards the last part. It said, first of all, there, go forth now to meet Ahaz. Go meet Ahaz, not his cohorts or anything like that. Go meet him. Thou and Shear-Jashub thy son. So you got to take your son with you. At the end of the conduit of the upper pool, now there were two pools, there was an upper pool and a lower pool. You had to meet him at the lower pool. The upper pool. In the highway of the fuller's field. So, when somebody tells you, you can serve God any way you want, that is a lie. God is very particular. We are to serve Him and worship Him in the way that He has told us to in His Word. And this is what He told Isaiah. He says, you do it this way. This is where you meet Him. Take your son with you. Go to this field in that pool. God is not pleased when we try to do things our way. You probably all remember a little bit about a couple of guys named Cain and Abel. When we worship the Lord, we worship the Lord the way He wants us to, not the way we want to. Anyway, so Isaiah is going to go and he's going to talk to Ahaz and tell him everything. And what is he going to tell him? Verse 4, And say unto him, Take heed and be quiet. Fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria, and the son of Remaliah. So he's telling him, first of all, take heed, pay attention. Now I'm going to go mostly off verse 4 has a lot in it here, and I'm going to go mostly from my notes. And what's it say? Tell Ahaz to take heed and to be quiet. Now this reminds me of a couple of other places, or it did last night when I was going over it again. And turn to Exodus 14. Hold your place here. Exodus 14. If I can get my pages to turn, I kind of got the shakes this morning. Exodus 14, verses 13 and 14. And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace, or be quiet. Stand still, see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you. Now, why would he fight for Judah, especially King Ahaz? I mean, we've seen the things that he's done, or some of them. He's even locked up the temple. He's going to do even more things after this. Why would the Lord fight for him? That's up to the Lord. The Lord uses evil men. He uses evil men against evil men. In this particular instance, Judah was evil because of Ahaz and all the things that they were doing to go along with him. But Israel was evil too. They had made a league or a confederacy with Syria. And they were going against their brothers, so to speak. Anyway, you shall hold your peace or be quiet. Okay, 2 Chronicles chapter 20. Second Chronicles chapter 20, verses 14 through 17. Then upon Jahaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jeiel, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the Spirit of the Lord in the midst of the congregation. And he said, Hearken ye all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and King Jehoshaphat, thus saith the Lord unto you, Be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Tomorrow go you down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them at the end of the brook, before the wilderness of Jeruel. You shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord with you, O Judah and Jerusalem. Fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for the Lord will be with you. Now, we've already said, that the Lord was with Judah in this, but still yet, they lost a lot of people. Lost 120,000 that were killed, and 200,000 were taken away, even though they were returned. You might think this was a lost battle, but no, it wasn't. It worked out exactly the way the Lord wanted it to happen. And this is the way he did it. Anyway, first of all, what happened there? Okay, God called Jahaziel to speak for him. He was a Levite. He was the person that was supposed to speak. He wasn't somebody you just pick up off the corner or anything like that. He was a Levite. He was one of the people that was supposed to speak. And he says, Hearken, Judah and Jerusalem, and take heed. Just like it is here in verse 4. Take heed. Be not afraid, or fear not. Don't be faint-hearted. Neither be faint-hearted. This is back in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 4. Neither be faint-hearted for the two tails of these smoking firebrands. Don't get all upset. Don't let your heart melt is basically what Gil says about it. But in other words, don't let them get to you. Don't let them make you fear. This is the Lord's battle. He's already told you that they're coming and everything. For the two tails of these smoking firebrands. So He pretty much calls them what they are. They're two little twigs that are smoking a lot. No fire. They're smoking firebrands. A firebrand is usually, you'll see people will light a match in a thing to light a candle or something like that, only it's not really a match, it's just a long little stick. They put it in there. And that's a firebrand. Anyway, these two firebrands, they think they're something. They're just two little sticks with a lot of smoke and no flame. With a fierce anger have risen with Syria. Okay, Syria's mad. I don't know what he was mad about, but he has a fierce anger. And the son of Remaliah. Okay, these two people, don't get worried about them. Verse 5, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, now we're going to say in just a minute here, but, okay, Syria and Ephraim, I know they made a confederation, and the son of Remaliah, that's, my goodness, Pekah. Yeah, I can't remember his name a lot. But anyway, he is the son of Remaliah. Anyway, they've taken evil counsel against thee, saying to one another, verse 6, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabeel. So let's see what they're going to do. Let's go up against Judah. Well, they went up against Judah, and they had a pretty good time there. But let's vex it. Let's make a breach therein for us. In other words, let's tear down the walls. This is talking about the city of Jerusalem now. This isn't talking about the nation or the kingdom of Judah. This is talking about the city there. They want to tear down the walls and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabeel. Now, I don't know who Tabeel is. There's another Tabeel mentioned in Ezra, I think it is. But he is spelled different, and it's at a different time period, so I don't think they're the same. But this is about his son anyway. I have seen two different things. One says that this name is a Syrian name, and the other says it's a Hebrew name. So I have no idea. I just know that they were going to set up a king. Apparently it was somebody that they got along with. Now whether most of the folks that I checked with, they seem to think that he was Syrian. Now, I don't know why Israel would go along with putting a Syrian king over Judah. I think it's probably wrong. But then again, I can't see Syria going along with putting an Israeli king over Judah either. So it's just one guy that they both agreed on. They were going to make him to be king. Now, something I want to point out here, God is the one that appoints kings. He is the one that puts the people in power and authority. He is the one that says who's going to be what. Not these two firebrands, smoky firebrands. In verse 7, thus saith the Lord God, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. In other words, they're not going to be able to do it. I'm going to show them, yeah, you're going to suffer. You've earned everything that you're going to get. But it's not going to come to pass, and it's not going to stand. Anyway, what does it shall not stand? That means it won't last. What they're trying to do, it won't last. Yeah, they were there and they were trying to tear down the walls of the city, and they couldn't prevail against it. As it says in verse 1. And it's not going to come to pass. It's not going to happen. And why? Verse 8. For the head of Syria is Damascus. Okay, that's pretty clear. Damascus is the chief city of Syria. And the head of Damascus is Rezin. In other words, he is king in Damascus in Syria. That's where he's king. Nowhere else. He doesn't have the authority. He's not going to go out and enlarge his kingdom. The Lord's going to keep that from happening. And, okay, what else? And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. So within 65 years, and I have seen, I don't know how many different ways where people counted up to where this come up to 65 years, where Israel is going to be destroyed as a kingdom. There's not going to be a kingdom of Israel anymore. And I'm not going to take any sides on any of this stuff. I'll just say, well, we know within 65 years that Israel is going to be carried away captive. There's not going to be any more kingdom of Israel. Anyway, verse 9, and the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son, or Pekah. He is the king in Samaria, in Ephraim, or Israel, but nowhere else. The Lord's not going to let him enlarge his kingdom. This is what you have. This is it. This is what I've given to you. Can't have any more. And he goes on here just a little bit, and we're going to close with this. He says, if you will not believe, surely you shall not be established. Now, believe who? Believe the prophet or believe the Lord? Well, in this case, it's the same thing. Because God was telling Isaiah what to say. So if you won't believe the Lord, if you won't believe what the prophet said, when our pastor gets up here and he's preaching and he's reading out of the Bible, and you think in your head, well, I don't believe that. If it's in this book, you better believe it. You forget about who's saying the words. If you will not believe, surely you shall not be established. You're not going to be able to stay. You won't be able to stand. You're going to be, just like Israel's going to be. And we know it's going to take longer for Judah, but the same thing is going to happen to them. Different people, but they're going to be taken away captive. So anyway, I hope you all got something out of this, and we'll go back into 2 Chronicles next week and finish up with Pekah.